So good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the computer graphics lecture. We're in the second unit. We're doing hardware. We've already covered uh, the first part of this unit where we talked about a lot of things. In specific, we've already talked about CRT monitors and what are the different kinds of display devices that use this cathode ray tube technology. The first one was DVST. We talked about the DVST tube. Then we also talked about uh, random scan displays. So we've talked about two of these display devices that use CRT monitors. So today we will be talking about the third kind. It's called your refresh or raster displays. Okay, so I'm sorry, it's not very legible. So today we're going to talk about uh, refresh or raster displays. So let's just recapitulate on all the things that we've done. Okay, so in my first class we talked about what is computer graphics and what are the different applications of computer graphics. Then we talked about what is the difference between computer graphics, image processing, and multimedia. Then we went on to the second unit where we talked briefly about how images, what are the different computer graphics equipments, and from all the devices that are required for a computer graphics system, we talked especially about the output display devices. So the output display devices, Amli, we talked about a particular kind. Those output display devices, which use cathode ray tubes. So these display devices are fat at the back end, So because they have got this olden days television which you see, and olden days computer monitors that you see. And we talked about how different parts of the cathode ray tube, especially the electron gun, is responsible for creating pictures on the screen. त हामीले यस्तो क्याथोड रे ट्युब चलाउने तीनवटा devices हेर्छौँ भन्यो. So in particular we're going to talk about three devices that use this cathode ray tube technology. So the first one we talked about was the DVST. Okay, the first one we talked about was the DVST. The second one we talked about was the random scan. The के similarity थियो दुईटामा भन्दा DVST monitors or display devices मा पनि स्क्रिनमा एउटा युनिफर्म फस्फर कोटिङ हुन्छ. फस्फर भन्ने मेटेरियल जुन छ त्यो फस्फर भन्ने जुन मेटेरियल छ त्यो सबै स्क्रिनमा युनिफर्म कोटिङ भएको हुन्छ डिभिएसटीमा पनि. ओके, लाइकवाइज इभन इन ऱ्यान्डम स्क्यान डिस्प्लेमा पनि फस्फर कोटिङ युनिफर्म हुन्छ. के हुन्छ, इलेक्ट्रोन गन लाइट आउँछ, लाइट आएर जहाँ जहाँ लाइटले कोर्छ त्यहीँ त्यो फस्फर ग्लो हुन्छ. फस्फर कति लामो ग्लो हुन्छ, इट इज कल्ड पर्सिस्टेन्स अफ फस्फर. त डिभिएसटीमा हामीले के देख्यौँ, डिभिएसटीमा हामीले देख्यौँ कि फस्फरको पर्सिस्टेन्स धेरै लामो थियो, 1-2 सेकेन्डसम्म त्यो ग्लो भइबस्थ्यो. त हामीलाई रिफ्रेस गर्नु पर्थेन. बट वी सो इन द ऱ्यान्डम स्क्यान डिस्प्ले इज दस द इलेक्ट्रोन गन बिम क्यान गो एन्ड सुट. यो तपाईँको स्क्रिनको अगाडि हो, यो स्क्रिन तपाईँले देख्दैछ, पछाडिबाट गनले हिर्काउँदैछ होइन. त्यो गनले जहीँ पनि हिर्काउन सक्छ, ऱ्यान्डम, इट क्यान गो एनी प्लेस इन द स्क्रिन. एन्ड त्यो जहाँ जहाँ त्यो इलेक्ट्रोन गनले हिर्काउँछ, लाइटले हिर्काउँछ, अगाडिपट्टि त्यो फस्फर ग्लो हुन्छ. ओके, सो दिस डिभिएसटी र ऱ्यान्डम स्क्यानमा के सिमिल्यारिटी थियो भन्दा बोथ अफ देम आर लाइन ड्रइङ सिस्टम्स. मतलब पोइन्ट ए टु पोइन्ट बीमा उनीहरूले त्यो इलेक्ट्रोन गन ड्र गर्छ, त्यो लाइट सुट गर्छ, त्यो लाइट सुट गर्दा एउटा लाइन बनिन्छ. सो एउटा पोइन्टदेखि अर्को पोइन्ट लाइन बनाउँथ्यो, अर्को पोइन्टदेखि अर्को पोइन्ट लाइन बनाउँथ्यो. सो द्याट वेज एन एन्टायर इमेज वाज ड्रोन. ओके, डिभिएसटी होइन random scanमा what was the difference? The difference was DVST भने अझ अर्लियर टाइप अफ मोनिटर्स थियो, डिस्प्ले स्क्रिन थियो, जहाँ चाहिँ अब स्क्रिनभरि फस्फर कोटिङ छ, युनिफर्म फस्फर कोटिङ छ होइन. त इमेज कसरी बनिन्थ्यो भन्दा चाहिँ त्यो इलेक्ट्रोन गन आएर सम काइन्ड अफ चार्ज बनाउँथ्यो. त यो फस्फर कोटिङको पछाडि एउटा ग्रिड थियो, एउटा ग्रिड हुन्छ, त्यो ग्रिडमा गएर यो इलेक्ट्रोन गनले एउटा सर्टन चार्ज बनाइदिन्छ. त्यसमा छाप जस्तै एउटा देयर बी सर्टन काइन्ड अफ चार्ज देयर. सो द्याट चार्ज विल एक्साइट दिस फस्फर इन द फ्रन्ट, एन्ड त्यो चार्जले गर्दा एउटा इमेज बनिन्थ्यो. त डिभिएसटीमा के भयो, If you want to change the image, you have to remove this charge that is there in the grid, again start shooting electrons, again the image is formed. So it was not very easy to change images. A static image ko लागि राम्रो थियो. What was the benefit of the random scan? Again, line drawing नै हो यो पनि, DVST line drawing, random line drawing. The difference is line drawing मा random displays मा के थियो भने पिक्चर कहाँ बनिनु पर्ने त्यो एउटा स्पेशल memory. See, this is the memory. At a memory ma, in one memory, they've got this entire image mapped out. Okay, at a memory ma, a command language, a program just in terms of functions. Draw a line from this to this, draw a circle from this to this, draw a polygon from this to this. So program is written out in terms of mathematical functions, in terms of output primitives in a special memory called a refresh buffer. The refresh buffer बाट त्यो program code लिएर एउटा display controller ले or video controller ले a special device ले त्यो program memory बाट program लिएर मतलब त्यो picture जुन चाहिँ display गर्नु छ त्यसको definition memory मा हुन्छ. So त्यो memory बाट त्यो definition लगेर यो screen मा light shine गरेर त्यो phosphor starts to glow. So there was two basic difference. DVST मा there was no concept of memories. In random scan, there was a concept of memories. The picture definition is stored in a memory, and there is a device called a display controller or a video controller. He takes these picture definition from the refresh buffer, this memory, and he starts to direct this electron beam on that particular location on the screen. Another thing we saw is that random scan ma जुन चाहिँ पनि phosphor coating छ त्यो phosphor coating को persistence is very low, which means some microsecond मा त्यो glue हराइहाल्छ. त के हुन्छ भने image draw गर्छ, there is this let us consider this pen to be device controller or video controller. A video controller image के बनाउनु भनेर he will go and check in the memory, special memory called refresh buffer. त्यो memory मा line algorithms, line functions, graphic commands, commands, mathematical functions लेखेको हुन्छ. Draw line from X to Y, draw line from A to B. So all these functions are there. So he takes these functions and he decodes them into pixel wise. And this electron gun, he is responsible for shooting those electron guns from the electron beam from the electron gun into this phosphor screen. And this phosphor screen starts to glow. But as soon as he draws the image, the phosphor again starts to lose its glow. So this glow lose huncha, he has to again go take the command, again redraw, again go, again redraw. So he has to keep redrawing this image. We saw how much 50 to 80 hertz, 50 to 60 hertz, say 50 hertz. So 50 times per second he has to keep drawing this image, so that for us from the front when we're looking at that image there is no flicker. Okay, so now we come to a new kind of display called the refresh or raster scan display. So we learned about three kinds of displays that use CRT technology, DVST and random scan or calligraphic scan. They are one group, okay, because both of them draw in terms of lines, okay, and unako monitor ma phosphor is uniformly coated. That's one, okay. Arco group ma amro raster scan display. The raster scan is also called refresh display. So let's have a look. So we're talking about refresh and raster scan displays. Now these are mostly used in television screens. Okay, so in raster scan ke huncha bhane something like this. Okay, something happened here. Wait. I can't find the page. Okay, so here you go. So if this is your screen, and in this screen the whole screen is made up of small squares. Okay, these are made up of small grids or matrix, and in each matrix there is a small dot of phosphor. Unlike DVST and random scan where phosphor was uniformly coated, but phosphor ल्याएको थियो, like you put cement, so all over the screen there was phosphor and electron gun जहाँ hit हुन्थ्यो सीधै line draw भइहाल्थ्यो. But unlike that, in a raster scan or a refresh scan, दुईटा एउटै नाम हो, there are grids in the screen. In the monitor को screen ma, there are small square cells. Now each cell has small phosphor dots. So there are thousands of phosphor dots all over the screen. And the beauty of this is every phosphor dot in every of the square cell has an address, which means you can go directly to this guy. You can even go and call this guy. You can even go, there's an address for this guy, there's an address for everybody. So every cell of phosphor dot on the monitor is not only addressable, which means it has a specific address, it also has intensities. Okay, कति जोडले यो ब्राइटनेसले यो पिक्सल ग्लो हुन्छ. Yeah, so we can not only tell which particular address of that phosphor dot, we also can tell how much, with what intensity this phosphor is supposed to glow. So who controls this intensity? That intensity is controlled by this electron gun. In the electron gun, in the first class we talked about the control grid. And kati electron flow huncha hudaina. So the more high the electron beams that you shoot, the more intensity. So the point to take away is, unlike DVST and random scan, raster scan displays have matrix kind of cell based screen where every cell has phosphor dots. This each cell is called your pixel. So the screen of a CRT monitor, CRT raster scan displays have pixelated or pixel based monitor system. Okay, now your monitor ma which pixels switch on, switch off, which pixels glow garda चाहिँ एउटा image बनिन्छ. The image definition is stored in a special memory called a frame buffer. अब memory को definition was stored in a frame buffer even for random scans. हैन, पहिलाको जस्तै अस्ति पढेको random scan मा frame buffer मै थियो. Raster scan system मा पनि frame buffer मै छ. What is the difference? Is random scan को frame buffer मा there was mathematical functions written here, because it was a line drawing system. Point X देखि point Y someone draw a line, point Y देखि point Z someone draw another line. So there was kind of a graphical program written, or some kind of mathematical functions written here. So you run this program from this file and the image is formed in the screen. That was for the random scan. Raster scan ma ke bhayo bhane we've got pixel wise monitor. We must tell this electron gun some information about which pixels to switch on, which pixels to switch off in order to draw an image. So that image definition, that image detail is kept in the frame buffer in terms of pixels. So what is the difference? Raster scan ma frame buffer ma जुन चाहिँ picture को definition राखेको हुन्छ त्यो, that is in terms of pixel intensity and coordinates. यो pixel मा यो first pixel भनेको frame buffer मा first pixel भनेको monitor frame buffer मा first bit memory भनेको bit हो. So this first bit is directly related to the first bit of the screen. Second bit of the memory is directly related to the second bit of the screen. So if that is the case, then frame buffer मा के राख्दो रहेछ? हरेक bit छ, bit मा certain value राख्छ. त्यो value is the intensity. कति जोडले त्यो image को phosphor glow गर्नुपर्ने. Okay, so image को intensity राखेको हुन्छ यहाँ. त्यो same intensity गएर त्यो electron gun ले यहाँ pixel लाई on off गर्छ. So if this bit is on, यो this bit on छ हैन, यो bit on छ, त electron gun ले यो address यो screen मा गएर खोज्छ somewhere here, अनि यो screen लाई on गरिदिन्छ. So यो same dot that is defined in the frame memory मा कि यो particular area मा चाहिँ glow गर्नुपर्छ भन्दा यही information लगेर electron gun ले screen मा पनि तीनै glow गरिदिन्छ. So that is basically how a raster screen works. अब you must remember one more thing, is that यो जुन चाहिँ memory frame buffer छ हैन, it is made of a bit. All these are bits, memory bits, and each bit is in the lowest, in the bare minimum, one bit is directly related to one pixel. When that is the case, this whole square frame of matrix of bits, frame buffer, is called a bit plane. So यहाँ हाम्रो अहिलेको यो current scene मा, यो monitor को screen मा के छ, is यो computer graphic system मा के छ, हाम्रोमा अहिले एउटा frame buffer मात्रै छ. एउटा frame buffer मात्रै छ भनेको we've got only one bit plane. For this monitor, one bit plane भनेको monitor को हरेक pixel मा pixel is represented by one bit in the memory. Like that, one pixel in the monitor can also have 2 bit planes, or one pixel can also have 3 bit planes. Okay, so but in bare minimum, one screen is having 1 bit plane. So लगभग यो मैले first session मा पनि गरिसकेको थिएँ. Fine. So let's just go back. So unlike DVST and random scans, which are line drawing devices, so DVST or random scan is line drawing devices. Refresh CRT. So this new one, this refresh CRT भन्दा पनि हुन्छ, raster scan display भन्दा पनि हुन्छ. These are point plotting devices. So random scan or DVST are कस्तो खालके CRT line display devices. They are line drawing devices. They draw images based on lines. Whereas refresh or raster CRT, this the particular example we are talking about, is unlike the DVST and random scan, a point plotting. Why point plotting? Because we just saw that the entire screen is pixelated. There are points, 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 points. So frame buffer मा points, 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 points information राख्नु पर्यो, coordinate राख्नु पर्यो, अनि intensity राख्नु पर्यो. Unlike your DVST and random scan. Then raster display store the display primitives in the refresh buffer. Okay, so raster display ले जति पनि इमेज को डेफिनेसन छ रिफ्रेश बफरमा राख्छ अरे. त्यो त इभन ऱ्यान्डम स्क्यानले पनि गर्थ्यो, बिसाइड डिभिएसटी ले गर्थेन, डिभिएसटी को त मेमोरी थिएन हैन. देन refresh buffer, also called frame buffer, stores the drawing primitives in terms of points. Now here's the difference. Raster display मा refresh buffer मा points and pixels को information राख्थ्यो, whereas random display मा उसको refresh buffer मा line drawing primitives in terms of mathematical functions and graphical commands हुन्थ्यो. Okay, so that's a basic difference. Let's see a basic architecture of the raster system. It is almost the same as the random system, where if you're going to see, there is this is the system bus. जुनै पनि computer system CPU त हुन्छै हुन्छ. CPU talks to some other components with the bus. There is input output devices, and there is an output device called a monitor, and there is memory. Okay, the के गर्दैछ भने refresh buffer is a part of the system memory. The CPU ले image कस्तो हुनुपर्छ, he will write down the definition in the refresh buffer. भिडियो कन्ट्रोलरले त्यो इन्फर्मेसन रिफ्रेश बफरबाट ल्याउँछ, इमेजको इन्फर्मेसन ल्याउँछ, कस्तो खालको इमेज लेख्नु डेफिनेसन ल्याउँछ. सिस्टम बसबाट उसले जे कन्भर्ट गर्नु छ, he will convert it and then he will project it onto the monitor. Then he will tell the monitor which pixels to on and which pixels to off. Now if you can see a little modified version of this is there you go. System buffer will have a special memory called a frame buffer. The frame buffer is a special place in the memory where the picture definition is kept both by the raster and the random. In the random displays, line drawing commands, graphical commands are there, whereas in the raster display, pixel and point informations are there. And then the CPU initiates जब एउटा इमेज बनाउनु छ, यो CPU ले एउटा commands ले गरेर यो frame buffer मा जुन चाहिँ पिक्चर बनाउनु छ त्यसको डेफिनेसन बनाउँछ. यहाँ कुन चाहिँ पिक्सल अन गर्नु, कुन चाहिँ पिक्सल अफ गर्नु, त्यो डेफिनेसन सबै छ. त त्यो सबै इन्फर्मेसन भिडियो कन्ट्रोलरले लिएर फ्रेम बफरबाट लिएर मोनिटरमा प्रोजेक्ट गर्छ. ओके, अनि म भिडियो कन्ट्रोलरले जहाँ जहाँ मोनिटरमा अन हुनुपर्छ भन्छ त्यही इलेक्ट्रोन गन गएर त्यो फस्फरलाई ग्लो गर्छ. There are some more points. Okay, now raster scan display or refresh scan display ma entire screen is a matrix of pixels. We've already seen. Random scan ma raster scan ma whole screen is full of pixels. Each pixel has phosphor dots. Unlike other displays where the whole screen has a uniform coating of phosphor. Each pixel brightness can be controlled. हर एक pixel को brightness can be controlled. Each pixel को brightness can be controlled and each pixel can be addressed. Address means you can go only to that point and switch on the electron gone, so that point will start to glow. Then each point is addressable. A line cannot be drawn directly from one point to another. Okay, अरू डिस्प्लेहरु जस्तै अब यो point देखि यो point मा जानु छ रे, say you want to go from this point to this point, you cannot start drawing a line straight away because there are grids. You must tell him which pixel to switch on, which pixel to switch off. The information counts. That is in the frame buffer. Okay, and this now you are coming across a new term called aliasing. Okay, you're coming across a new term called aliasing. You're coming across a new term called aliasing, or it is also called as Jaggies or a staircase effect. Okay, so these are three things that are new to you. All means the same thing: staircase or Jaggies. Okay, just once I had some glitch. Okay, stack cursor Jaggies. So what is it saying? If there is a point A, okay, and there is a point B. Now अघि के थियो भने राष्ट्र स्क्यान र DVST मा यो डल्लै स्क्रिन यहाँ A देखि B सम्म स्क्रिनको अगाडि पिक्सल हुन्छ त यो गन गएर सर इलेक्ट्रोन सुट गरेपछि यो सबै फस्फर अन हुन्छ फाइन तर राष्ट्र स्क्यानमा के छ इफ यु हेभ टु ड्र समथिङ फ्रम A to B you can't draw a line no because there is no uniform coating के छ त्यहाँ यहाँ त पिक्सल 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 होल स्क्रिन has पिक्सल्स अब कुन चाहिँ पिक्सल अन गर्नु यो 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 so all this information has to be given in order to draw a line that is a raster scan display the यो raster scan display मा यसरी गर्दा there are certain new problems that arise that is called aliasing Jaggies or staircase okay so all these are the same terms and the so this important point you can see here is what the refresh frame buffer is also called as bit plane मैले भनिहालेँ अघि नै it's also called as bit plane so यहाँ चाहिँ यो स्क्रिनमा पिक्सलमा कुन कुन अफ गर्नु which pixel should be on by how much intensity all of this where is it defined it is defined here in this bit plane these are bit these are digital bits these are phosphor dots you need to shoot current here the if there is only one bit for one pixel then this is called one bit plane if one pixel is defined by not just one bit plane 2 bit planes then we will say that 2 bit planes will define one pixel okay so these memory frame buffers are also called as bit planes so here you go this is a very nice example the electron gun is coming okay and then he starts to read he has to take this beam from the top part of the monitor and he has to go and scan the whole line so this is called your scan lines okay यहाँ electron gun off छ तर look at this उसले पछि गएर dot यहाँ बनाउनु पर्छ okay he has to draw this dot but in order to reach this dot he has to go through the first line completely come to the second line electron gun off छ यहाँ गएर यो पिक्सलमा गएर इलेक्ट्रोन गन अन हुन्छ इलेक्ट्रोन गन अन हुँदा यो पिक्सलको फस्फर मोनिटरको फस्फर ग्लो गर्छ फेरि ही स्क्यान्स अगेन ही कम्स ब्याक अगेन ही स्क्यान्स अगेन यहाँनिर स्विच अन हुन्छ यहाँनिर स्विच अन हुन्छ अगेन ही स्क्यान्स अगेन ही गोज अगेन सो द पोइन्ट द्याट वी ट्राइङ टु मेक इज द इलेक्ट्रोन गन अनलाइक ऱ्यान्डम स्क्यानमा के थियो ऱ्यान्डम स्क्यानमा इफ ही वान्टेड टु ड्र अ लाइन फ्रम हियर टु हियर ही वुड डाइरेक्टली गो एन्ड ड्र अ लाइन द इलेक्ट्रोन गन तर यहाँ ऱ्यान्डम रास्टर स्क्यानमा के हुँदैछ भने यहाँनिर लाइन बनाउनु लागि उसले यो यहाँ जानै पर्छ तर यहाँ लाइन बनाउनु छैन भने ही हेज टु ट्राभर्स दिस यहाँबाट यहाँ जानै पर्छ ओके तर इलेक्ट्रोन गन अफ हुन्छ दिस इज कल one scan line he comes back again he scans the second line यहाँ पनि अफ हुन्छ he comes back he scans the third line यहाँ अफ हुन्छ he comes back fourth लाइनमा he switches on the electron gun यहाँ अन हुन्छ so यसरी line by line he has to traverse it is called raster scan that's why it's not random he cannot go anywhere in the screen he has to go sequentially 1 line 2 line 3 line अनि जब line जान्छ त्यहाँ on off गर्दै finally you get an image now that time we talked about when you do this in raster scan especially there are certain new topics like Jaggies or staircase problems or aliasing that we say so what are these aliasing what is this Jaggies actually let us go back and see have a look at this now consider this to be a screen okay consider this to be a screen अनि अब तपाईलाई A देखि all these are pixels or pixels and phosphors हैन तपाईलाई A देखि B सम्म लाइन कोर्नु पर्ने छ रे हैन त अब कसरी कोर्छ त यहाँ त grid pixel छ so in order to draw this line is not there actually okay so we just have to we must make this monitor pixel on off in such a way that somehow we get this line ल त यो line on गर्नु लागि maybe we will switch on this pixel 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 we'll switch on this pixel we'll also switch on this pixel this is the screen my, we'll switch on this pixel, we'll switch on this pixel, we'll switch on this pixel, we'll switch on this pixel. Ani that is the way form line. अब कुन चाहिँ pixel switch on गर्नु कहाँ छ, that will be stored in another matrix called your bit plane or your refresh buffer. The refresh buffer बाट information आउँछ video controller ले कुन चाहिँ pixel on गर्नु, so that you can see almost a line. So it is not a true line, it is rasterized, it is an approximation of a line हैन. त यो पिक्सलहरु यति सानो छ कि हामीले एउटा लाइनलाई नै देख्छ यसलाई. तर कोही बेला तपाईले एउटा इमेजलाई ठुलो पारेर, या when the graphics is very bad graphic system is there, then we see the image फाटेर कुनै कस्तो हुन्छ, एउटा सिधा लाइनलाई you see all these stairs, all these pixels we can see. So it's called pixelation, or it's also called jaggies. These effects, if the image ma tapaile एउटा line नदेखेर यस्तो pixel देख्नु थाल्यो, it's called jaggies, or these called aliasing. अनि त्यसै कारण there are certain algorithms जसले हामीलाई यो aliasing लाई कम्ती गर्न सकिन्छ. Now these are general lines. Raster system जुनै line बनाउँदा यसो staircase system हुन्छ. But there are certain special cases. Okay, there are certain special cases where यस्तो aliasing को problem हुँदैन. कहिले जब तपाईलाई line vertically draw गर्नुपर्छ, like A देखि C draw गर्नुपर्छ रे हैन. त के गर्छ तपाईले सबै you are sure यो pixel सबै on गर्नुपर्छ. When you on this pixel, a line comes. Here you will see no staircase or jaggies. So whenever you want to draw a line horizontally, vertically, when you have to draw a line horizontally, or whenever you have to draw a line inclined at 45 degrees, then jaggies and staircases will not occur. But for every other, jaggies will occur. किन यसो छ नि त, अब यो पिक्सल भयो हैन, यहाँ पनि पिक्सल छ, यहाँ पनि पिक्सल छ. तपाईलाई लाइन बनाउनु छ. So you have to draw a line something like this. अब यो पिक्सल अन गर्नु कि यो पिक्सल अन गर्नु कि यो पिक्सल अन गर्नु कि यो पिक्सल अन, कुन चाहिँ अन गर्नु? You have to decide the best pixel to on, so that you get a good approximation of this line. अब यस्तो हुँदा लाइन चाहिँ पिक्सलको बीच-बीचबाट बनाउनु पर्यो भने चाहिँ pixelation हुन्छ. Okay, so in our next unit we will see what algorithms, how do people choose which pixels to switch on and which pixels to switch off. This whole process is called your rasterization or scan conversion. कुन चाहिँ pixel on गर्नु, कुन चाहिँ pixel off गर्नु, in order to have an image on the screen that is a very close approximation of the real image. So these are the points that are similar to what we talked about. Raster is stored as a matrix of pixels representing the entire screen by then the intensity of the beam decides the brightness of the pixel. What decides the intensity of the beam? Beam कति strong छ त्यो phosphor मा, how strong is the beam that is hitting the phosphor screen, that decides the intensity or brightness. So when there is only one bit for one pixel, one bit in the memory for one pixel in the monitor, then it is called a single bit plane. Otherwise you can have 2 bit planes, 3 bit planes, but the memory, the refresh buffer that is kept for the picture definition is called your bit plane. Fine. So these are again, let's not talk about this because it's going very long. Yeah, so we'll leave all of this, and let's just say this looks nice. Okay, so there is a computer, and in the computer system you've got all commands and mathematical functions that can be input through keyboards and mouses, and whatever you do, this display controller can, or display processor, let's say, forget the word controller, display processor, video graphics controller or CPU. तपाईँको graphics card छैन भने CPU ले गर्छ, graphics card छ भने graphics card ले गर्छ. Okay, so video processor or display processor, this is a processor, processor. He'll take all these commands and he'll try and represent the picture, whatever picture you are trying to model. तपाईले mouse ले keyboard ले एउटा picture लाई model गर्दैछ, त्यो model त्यो picture को definition गएर refresh buffer मा राख्छ in terms of bits, zeros and ones. कुन चाहिँ off गर्नु, कुन चाहिँ off नगर्नु. And whenever you want to draw this picture on the monitor here, the video controller takes this information and draws it on the screen here. Okay, so that is the way raster system works. You can see here, this is the monitor. How does the electron gun work in the raster system? He has to scan the first line. These are called scan lines. Then after he finishes the first scan line, he comes to the second scan line. Okay, then again he goes to the second, so he finishes the second scan line, again he goes to third scan line. So whenever he switches from the one scan line, horizontal scan line, and he comes to the starting of the second scan line, these are called horizontal retrace. Whenever the electron gun moves, finishes the first scan line and goes to the second scan line, this coming back, this retrace is called your horizontal retrace. And once the image is drawn, now the image has to be refreshed, the image has to be redrawn, so the electron gun again goes back to the starting of the screen. Now this is called your vertical retrace. So the electron gun in raster displays, they have horizontal retrace and vertical retrace. Now if I were to show you what an image looks like, okay, see, the refresh buffer would look something like this. Okay, so if for every bit, again we are taking very simple example लिएको, monitor को एउटा pixel is memory को एउटा bit. That rarely happens किनभने थुप्रो bit will यस्तो थुप्रो bit, maybe 8 bits will represent one pixel. तर here for simplicity we are saying एउटा bit, यो memory को एउटा bit is 1 pixel on the screen, हैन? त के भन्दैछ भने यो स्क्रिनमा कति जोडले, कति इन्टेन्सिटीले, कस्तो खालके ग्रे, दिस ब्ल्याक एन्ड व्हाइट इमेज, कति ग्रे स्केल इमेज, कति कुन चाहिँ ग्रे, सो इट्स 1, so here it's saying 157, so 0 देखि 255. okay, 0 means black, 255 means white. So look here, यो पिक्सल 0 बनाउनु अरे, कुन चाहिँ यो पिक्सल, यो पिक्सल 0, so 0 means 0 is black. Fine, let's come here, see 233, in the memory it's in 233, so the video controller will go and he will map it on the pixel, कुन चाहिँ पिक्सल, यो पिक्सलमा 233 मा almost white. So this is a monitor screen. Okay, this is just showing you, if you take this memory को definition of the picture and you take this pixel on top of this, phosphor dots on top of this is what happens. Okay, यहाँ हेर्नुस् त सबै भ्याल्यु अनुसार इन्टेन्सिटी छ अनि कुन चाहिँ पिक्सल कहिले गर्नु, त्यो कोअर्डिनेट इज अलरेडी डिसाइडेड हियर. So this is called your bit plane, this is called your rasterized screen, raster display को screen, where there is phosphors. कस्तो खालके phosphor, it is not everywhere uniform, it is grid wise, and each grid of phosphor is called your pixel. Okay, so I am sure this class has become too long, so so the raster screen is drawing a house with dots, unlike random scan with draw lines, but we cannot see these dots because it is too fine, and then we see it as a straight line. But if you zoom in on the pixels, then sometimes if your graphic system is very bad, then you get to see all those pixels and staircases effects. Those are known as aliasing or Jaggies. Okay, so we'll meet again for the last part of this unit. We'll see how color monitors work. I think we won't go into a lot of detail for that. But that said, for the next class we will finish off this unit by discussing about color display systems, and I will give you certain assignments. Okay, so till then, take care.